The clatter of forks and soft conversation filled the dining room until my grandfather's voice sliced through everything like a blade. "So, Emma," he said, his eyes narrowing on me across the polished oak table, "how's life in the apartment I paid for?" The room went dead silent. My fork froze halfway to my mouth. Heat rushed up my neck. "What apartment?" I stammered, blinking at him in disbelief. "The one on Maple Avenue," Grandpa continued, his voice growing sharper. "The one I gave money for so my granddaughter wouldn't have to struggle." Every set of eyes shifted. My sister Vanessa sat a few seats down, swirling her wine glass with a smirk she didn't bother to hide. My mother's lips tightened, her gaze darting between me and Grandpa. "I've been saving pennies for rent," I whispered, my voice breaking. "Working doubles just to keep the lights on." "What apartment are you talking about?" Grandpa's jaw hardened, his hand gripping his cane until his knuckles whitened. "Don't tell me you didn't know. Don't tell me your mother." His words cracked like thunder as his stare pinned my mom. "Where's my money, Linda?" Mom shifted in her chair, the color draining from her face. "Dad, please not here. We're eating." Vanessa let out a soft laugh, pretending to cough into her napkin. "Maybe she doesn't need an apartment. She likes her little shoe box with the peeling wallpaper." I shot her a glare so sharp it could have shattered glass. My chest pounded. My mind reeled. All this time, 3 years of scraping by, counting coins, at gas stations, skipping meals, while Vanessa flaunted her designer shoes and perfect manicures. "Answer me, Linda." Grandpa's voice rose, vibrating with anger and betrayal. "I gave you that money to secure Emma's future. Why is her sister living like a queen in the place meant for her?" My mother's hand trembled as she set her fork down. Her eyes finally met mine, but there was no apology in them, only guilt tangled with defiance. "Vanessa had just graduated, Dad. She needed stability. Emma is strong. She could manage on her own." I felt something inside me snap. "Manage? You call skipping meals managing? You call working 12-hour shifts just to pay for a crappy apartment managing while Vanessa gets to live in comfort on money that was meant for me?" The table rattled as Grandpa slammed his hand down. "Unbelievable. You robbed your own daughter to spoil the other." Vanessa leaned back, smirking like she was untouchable. "Oh, please don't act like she's some victim. She's always been dramatic. I'm making use of the apartment and honestly it suits me better," she added with a shrug. My fists clenched in my lap, my chest burned with humiliation and rage. I wanted to scream, to drag every lie into the light, but one look at Grandpa's trembling hands, the fury in his eyes told me this wasn't over. Not tonight, not here, because now the truth was out and nothing in this family would ever be the same again. Grandpa Robert's voice still thundered in my ears long after dinner plates were cleared. My hands trembled as I grabbed my coat from the rack, my chest tight, my mind screaming with disbelief. 3 years. 3 years of saving pennies, patching holes in my shoes, lying to my landlord about late paychecks, and all this time, the apartment Grandpa had paid for, my apartment, was being used by Vanessa like it was her personal kingdom. The night air hit me like a slap when I stormed out to the porch. But before I could even breathe, I heard the shuffle of footsteps. Grandpa followed, his cane striking the wooden boards with each step. "Emma," his voice broke, softer now, but no less fierce. "You didn't know. I can see it on your face. You've been wronged." I turned to him, my throat tight. "Grandpa, I've been killing myself just to get by. I thought maybe that's just what life was supposed to be. But to hear tonight, to know Mom gave Vanessa everything meant for me, it feels like I don't even matter." His eyes shone with pain. "Don't you ever say that. You matter more than anyone in that house right now, and I won't let this stand." The door creaked open behind us. Vanessa leaned against the frame, her smirk illuminated by the porch light. "Oh, come on, Grandpa. Don't make this a soap opera. Emma's fine. She's always been simple. She doesn't need luxury to survive." I spun toward her, anger burning through my chest. "Simple? You think working double shifts and living on instant noodles is fine? You've been living in comfort with money that was never yours." She shrugged, twirling a strand of her perfectly styled hair. "Maybe Mom just knows who's worth investing in." The words cut sharper than any blade. I stepped forward, fists trembling at my sides, but Grandpa's cane tapped the porch hard, stopping me. His voice boomed. "Enough." Vanessa's smirk faltered just a little. "Tomorrow morning," Grandpa said, his eyes locked on her, "we're going to Maple Avenue. And I'm walking through that apartment myself. If I find Emma's name missing from those papers, then I'll make sure the whole world knows what you and your mother did. Vanessa scoffed, though her lips twitched. You wouldn't dare. Mom won't let you. Grandpa leaned closer, his voice low and lethal. Try me. That night, I barely slept. Every creak in my tiny apartment reminded me of the nights I cried from exhaustion. The mornings I dragged myself to work with an empty stomach. And now I knew it wasn't life being cruel. It was my own family.by sunrise. I was awake, staring at the cracks in my ceiling, determination building inside me. For years, I'd swallowed humiliation, kept quiet, and pushed through. But something inside me shifted last night. I wasn't going to stay silent anymore. At 9 a.m., Grandpa pulled up in his old Buick. His face was hard, set with purpose. I slid into the passenger seat, nerves coiled in my stomach. Ready? He asked. I nodded, even though my hands shook. More than ever, we drove in silence until the red-bricked building of Maple Avenue loomed ahead. My chest tightened as we parked. The apartment looked pristine with white shutters and flower boxes spilling with color, a far cry from my dingy studio with rusted pipes. And there, through the wide bay window, I saw Vanessa. She was lounging on a velvet sofa, sipping coffee from a gold-rimmed cup like she'd been born into royalty. My blood boiled. Grandpa pushed open the door, his cane striking the tiled floor with authority. Vanessa's head jerked up, her face paling, as she scrambled to her feet. What are you doing here? She hissed. I came to see the apartment I paid for, Grandpa snapped. The one that was meant for Emma. Her lips curled into a sneer. Well, too late. Mom already gave it to me. You can't change that. I stepped inside, my voice trembling, but strong. Watch me. The room smelled of lavender candles, the air heavy with warmth. Every inch screamed of luxury. The rug, the chandelier, the neatly arranged art pieces. My throat burned with anger at the contrast to the mold-stained walls I lived in. This should have been mine, I whispered, my voice breaking. All those nights I cried, all the times I thought I was worthless, it was because of you. Vanessa rolled her eyes. Don't be so dramatic, Emma. You're fine. Look at you. You survived. Grandpa's cane slammed against the floor so hard the chandelier shook. His voice thundered. You stole her dignity, her safety, her future. And I won't let this end with smug excuses. Vanessa flinched, her smirk finally crumbling. I straightened my shoulders, my pulse racing. This ends today. I'm done being the forgotten one. The slam of the apartment door echoed through the hallway. Before I even turned, Mom Linda stood there, her face pale, her breath sharp as she clutched her purse like a shield. What's going on here? She demanded, her voice trembling with forced authority. Grandpa Robert didn't hesitate. You know exactly what's going on. I gave you money for Emma, for her safety, her future. And you let Vanessa squat here like some entitled queen while Emma scraped by in misery. Mom's lips tightened, her eyes flicking from me to Vanessa. Dad, please calm down. You're overreacting. Overreacting. My voice cracked as it rose. I stepped forward, my chest pounding. I've worked myself half to death to keep a roof over my head. Mom, do you have any idea what that felt like? To think I wasn't good enough. While Vanessa got to live here in this palace, sipping lattes like her life was perfect, Vanessa crossed her arms, muttering, it's not that big a deal. Not that big a deal? I snapped. I've eaten canned soup for dinner 3 nights in a row while you brag about brunches and shopping sprees. Every moment I thought I was failing. It was because of you too. My voice broke into a whisper. And you knew. Mom finally dropped her purse onto the counter. Her shoulders sagged as if the weight of the truth pressed down all at once. I made a choice, she said quietly. Vanessa had just graduated. She needed stability. You've always been strong, Emma. You could handle struggle. She couldn't. The words hit like ice water. So, you punish me for being strong. Do you realize what you took from me? The chance to breathe, to feel safe, to live without fear. That one missed paycheck would ruin me. You let me believe I was unworthy while handing my future to her. Grandpa slammed his cane down, his voice thundering. Linda, you don't get to decide one child deserves comfort while the other suffers. That's not parenting. That's betrayal. Mom's jaw trembled. She glanced at Vanessa, whose face had gone pale. I only wanted what was best for her, I cut in sharply. Never for me. Don't pretend it was love. Love doesn't look like this. The silence that followed was suffocating. I could hear the hum of the fridge, the faint tick of a wall clock. My pulse was deafening in my ears. Then Grandpa's voice cut through like a blade. This ends today. Emma will have what was meant for her. And if either of you so much as argues, I'll make sure everyone knows what you've done. Every relative, every friend, you'll be exposed. Mom gasped, clutching the counter. Vanessa's lips parted, her arrogance finally collapsing. Grandpa, you wouldn't, Vanessa whispered. Robert growled. Try me. I stood taller, my hands no longer shaking. For the first time, the power wasn't in their hands. It was in mine. I turned to my mom, my voice steady, low and cutting. You always told me to be patient, that life wasn't fair. You were right about one thing. Life isn't fair. But today, it finally will be. The look on her face, guilt, fear, and the dawning realization that her control was slipping was something I'd never forget. Because in that moment, I wasn't the forgotten daughter anymore. I was the one rewriting the story. The tension in that apartment was suffocating, like the air itself had turned to stone. My mother stood frozen, gripping the counter, her knuckles pale. Vanessa, once smug and untouchable, looked cornered for the first time in her life. And Grandpa Robert Kane, planted firmly, looked like a general about to deliver his final command. I drew a shaky breath, but my voice came out stronger than I expected. I'm done living like a ghost in this family. You took everything meant for me, and you let me believe I wasn't enough. That ends now. Mom's lips trembled. Emma, you don't understand. No, you don't understand. I cut in, my words sharp as glass. I've spent years breaking my back, wondering why I had to fight for scraps while Vanessa strutted around in comfort. And tonight, I found out the truth. You chose her. You decided my suffering was acceptable, as long as she was comfortable. Vanessa shifted uncomfortably, her arms crossed tight. It's not like you were starving to death. You survived. Honestly, it made you tougher. My blood boiled. You think toughness is a prize. You think sleeping in a freezing apartment with the heat shut off builds character. You've never had to wonder if you could make next month's rent. You've never cried over groceries you couldn't afford. And you call that toughness. Grandpa's cane slammed against the tile, the sound cracking through. The silence. Enough. This is over, Emma. This apartment belongs to you. You'll move in as soon as possible. Mom's head jerked up, panic flashing in her eyes. Dad, you can't just throw Vanessa out. She's built her life here. Robert's glare was ice cold. She built her life on lies, on stolen money. She'll leave, or I'll make sure everyone knows what you've both done. The room shook with the weight of his words. Vanessa's face twisted in disbelief. You can't do that. I will. Grandpa snapped. The silence that followed felt endless. For once, Vanessa didn't have a comeback. She slumped onto the sofa, her perfect posture gone, her nails digging into her palms. I took a step forward, my voice trembling, but firm. I don't want her thrown onto the street, Grandpa. I'm not like them. But I won't stay silent anymore. This apartment is mine, and she leaves. Period. Mom's voice cracked. Emma, please don't do this. You're tearing the family apart. I laughed bitterly, shaking my head. I'm tearing the family apart? You tore it apart the moment you decided one daughter deserved everything while the other deserved nothing. Don't you dare put this on me. Her face fell, the weight of my words sinking in. Grandpa's voice was steady, commanding. Emma, you'll have the keys by the end of the week. I'll see to it personally. Linda, if you interfere again, you'll answer to me. For the first time in years, I felt seen, validated. My chest loosened, though my heart still ached with betrayal. Vanessa finally whispered, her voice breaking. This isn't fair. I turned to her, my tone sharp, but calm. Fair. You've lived off what was mine while I scraped by. You don't get to talk about fairness. She dropped her gaze, silent. When Grandpa and I finally walked out, the air outside felt different, lighter. Though my chest still burned with the scars of years, I couldn't get back in the Buick. Grandpa sighed, his voice weary. I should have checked sooner. I trusted your mother. I thought she'd do right by you. I shook my head. Don't blame yourself. You gave me a gift. They stole it. That's on them. He reached over, placing a trembling hand over mine. You're stronger than you know, but you deserve more than just strength. You deserve peace. For the first time, I believed him. 2 weeks later, the sound of keys jingling in my hand felt surreal as I stood outside the Maple Avenue apartment. Vanessa had been forced to move out reluctantly, bitterly, but she was gone. Mom hadn't spoken to me since that night. I pushed the door open, stepping into the space that should have been mine all along. Sunlight spilled across the polished floors, warm and golden. My chest tightened, not with anger this time, but with a quiet, overwhelming relief. I walked through each room, touching the walls, the furniture, the windowsills. Every corner whispered of betrayal, but also of possibility. This was mine now, not because it was handed to me, but because I fought for it. I sank onto the sofa, exhaling a breath I'd held for years. My phone buzzed. It was Grandpa. "How does it feel?" his voice asked. I smiled through tears. "Like I can finally breathe." There was a pause, then his steady reply. "Good, because this isn't just an apartment. It's a reminder. You are not forgotten. You never were. And from here on, you'll never let anyone make you feel that way again." I glanced out the window, the city alive beyond the glass. For once, the future didn't feel like a punishment. It felt like a promise. And as I sat there in the apartment that had nearly been stolen from me, I swore one thing. I would never again let silence steal my voice, because sometimes revenge isn't about destruction. It's about reclaiming what was yours all along.